In every corner of the world, there are secrets, stories that go beyond understanding, waiting patiently in the dark, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover them. And tonight, we step into that darkness once again. Welcome to Dynamic Dark. Welcome to a brand new horror experience. Welcome to episode 31. I'm Aditya, and tonight, I bring you 3 terrifying creepypasta-style stories, each darker, deeper, and more disturbing than the last. New stories. New week. New nightmares. If you are new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you dare to face what comes next. Tonight's stories will blur the line between reality and nightmare. Each one a descent into pure darkness. Today's first story, The Smiling Door. 12 o'clock today's second story, room 404. New moon symbol and today's final story, The Mirror in the Basement. If you crave horror that blends creepypasta chills with psychological terror and haunted realism, you are exactly where you need to be. Because this is Dynamic Dark. For the best experience, put on your earphones, turn off the lights, and let the darkness, suspense, and fear consume you. Now let's begin with our first story, The Smiling Door. He stepped inside the abandoned house. The wooden floor creaked beneath his weight, echoing through the empty halls like distant whispers. The air was thick, heavy, smelling of dust, mildew, and the faint, almost metallic scent of decay. Each breath he took seemed to pull in the history of the house, years of silence, secrets, and things better left alone. At the end of the long hallway, dimly lit by a single flickering bulb, he saw a door. Not just any door. It had a smile carved into it. A smile that was impossibly wide, stretching unnaturally across the wood. His stomach tightened as he tried to focus, but the hallway seemed to warp around the door. The shadows clung closer to the walls, stretching toward him as if the house itself was leaning in to watch. The door, it wasn't just smiling. It felt alive. Every detail of the carved grin seemed to shift when he blinked. One moment, the smile was narrow and subtle. The next, it stretched impossibly wide, revealing teeth that weren't teeth but jagged, dark slivers of something not meant to exist. He wanted to look away, to close his eyes, but an invisible force held his gaze. A cold breeze whispered through the cracks of the old door frame, carrying faint, almost imperceptible laughter. It was soft, high-pitched, playful, and yet sinister. It crawled along his spine, leaving goosebumps and a tightening in his chest. He tried to step backward, but the floor seemed to stretch, elongating beneath him, making the distance to the door feel endless. As he took a tentative step forward, the bulb above flickered violently. Shadows danced across the walls, contorting into shapes that resembled twisted faces, crawling hands, and forms that didn't belong to this world. Each movement made his heart hammer faster. He could feel eyes, hundreds, maybe thousands, watching him from the darkness just beyond the door. He swallowed hard. The smile on the door, it felt aware. It seemed to follow him, tilting slightly as he moved, widening whenever he hesitated, like it was mocking his fear. He could hear a soft whisper, almost a hiss, calling his name, though his lips remained sealed. The air grew colder, denser, pressing against his chest as if the house itself was breathing him in. He reached out with trembling fingers, drawing to the door in a mix of terror and morbid curiosity. The moment his skin brushed the rough wood, a chill shot up his arm, sharp and biting, like icy knives sliding beneath his skin. The door shuddered under his touch, and the hallway seemed to contract, walls bending inward as if trying to trap him. And still, he couldn't look away from that impossible smile. It stretched, shifted, almost beckoning him. The laughter grew louder, echoing in his skull, blending with the creaking floorboards, the whispering shadows, the thumping of his own terrified heartbeat. Time itself seemed to stretch and slow. Every second felt like an eternity as he stood frozen, caught between dread and an unnatural curiosity that refused to let him turn away. Every step he took made the floorboards creak like whispers, echoing unnaturally through the endless hallway. The air was thick and cold, carrying the faint scent of decay and something metallic he couldn't identify. Each breath he drew seemed to pull in the history of the house, years of silence, secrets, and horrors better left forgotten. Shadows clung to the walls, twisting unnaturally as if they were alive, stretching and writhing in the dim light. At the far end of the corridor, the smiling door seemed to tilt subtly, almost as if it were aware of him, mocking every hesitant step. His stomach churned. He thought he glimpsed movement in the corners of his eyes, a tattered eerie-like wraith floating just above the floor, long black hair obscuring its pale face, a banshee-inspired spirit with ragged robes hovering silently in a darkened corner, and a thin, elongated shadow entity slithering along the wall, its hollow eyes fixed on him. Each movement made his chest tighten, every whisper of wind carrying faint, distorted laughter. He tried to step backward, but the hallway stretched unnaturally, elongating the distance to the door. His pulse pounded in rhythm with the creaking wood, every sound magnified and echoed by the oppressive silence around him. The shadows along the walls flickered and shifted, forming claw-like hands, jagged mask-like faces, and other shapes that weren't entirely human, crawling closer with each heartbeat. It felt as if the house itself were alive, watching and waiting. A cold, fetid breeze drifted from the door, carrying soft whispers that seemed to speak his name. The door's smile widened impossibly, revealing jagged black slivers where teeth should have been. An invisible force compelled him forward, curiosity and terror battling inside him. He could feel the gaze of the spirits, the wraith, the banshee-like figure, the slithering shadow following his every move, unseen yet suffocatingly present. He reached out, trembling, brushing his fingertips against the rough wood. A sharp chill shot up his arm, icy and biting, like knives sliding beneath his skin. The door shuddered under his touch. Mist rose from the floor, thick and black, curling toward the door, and the shadows seemed to stretch closer, coiling like living things. His vision wavered as whispers, laughter, and the sound of his own terrified heartbeat blended into one oppressive, paralyzing sensation. And yet, he couldn't look away from that impossible smile. It beckoned him, alive, twisting and shifting with each blink. Time slowed, the hallway stretching and warping, the air thickening, pressing against his chest as if the house itself were breathing him in. He stood frozen, caught between dread and an unnatural curiosity, powerless to turn away from the dark, malevolent force waiting behind that grinning, living door. A cold, unnatural breeze drifted from behind the grinning door, carrying soft, distorted laughter that scraped at his ears. He spun around, nothing. Yet the smile on the door, it stretched impossibly wide, alive with a sinister, almost sentient malice. Each second felt drawn out, the air itself seemed heavier, pressing against his chest, as though the house were exhaling him in slow, deliberate bursts. Shadows along the walls writhed and pulsed, twisting into angels and jagged spikes that defied the normal rules of geometry. Fleeting glimpses of forms appeared and vanished, shapes vaguely humanoid, yet impossibly wrong, like remnants of something shattered into darkness. The floorboards groaned beneath him, echoing across the corridor like whispers of something alive, something waiting. Thick black mist began rising from the floor, curling into the corners and enveloping massive floating entities. Some were dense, smoky forms hovering low, their bulk casting looming shadows that stretched endlessly. Others were jagged, fractured shapes, pulsating faintly, hollow eyes glowing intermittently like dying embers. Clusters of smaller shadowy wisps swarmed unpredictably, darting along the walls, merging and separating, adding to the chaotic, oppressive energy. A faint metallic whisper resonated through the hallway, interspersed with distorted laughter that seemed to ripple along the walls and ceiling. Every step forward made the corridor feel longer, more warped, as if time itself were bending around the malevolent door. Flickering bulbs cast cold, high-contrast light, revealing subtle red undertones that highlighted grotesque black spirits, making them appear unnervingly alive. He tried to step back, but an invisible pull drew him forward, toward the grinning door. Each movement of the dense, varied spirits, floating, elongated, fragmented, amorphous, intensified his dread, filling the corridor with a living, suffocating presence. The air felt thick with anticipation, each heartbeat echoing like a drum of warning, making his chest tighten with a rising panic. The door's grin widened further, stretching across the wood with unnatural elasticity. It seemed aware of him, mocking, daring him to approach. The corridor subtly twisted around him, walls bending, shadows stretching, mist curling and writhing as if the house itself were alive, breathing, watching. Whispers grew into low, undulating chants, barely audible, yet vibrating in his skull. The black ghosts moved with deliberate, terrifying slowness, their sheer mass pressing into his senses, blocking any escape. Each one seemed unique, some solid, some smoky, some fragmented, some swarming in clusters, all watching, all waiting, and all drawing inexorably toward the grinning, malevolent door. Every flicker of light, every subtle movement, every echoing step magnified his terror. The hallway had become an entity in itself, alive and sentient, ready to consume anyone daring enough to face the door. And as he stood frozen, staring at that impossible grin, he realized one thing with absolute clarity: the house was patient, and it had already claimed him. He reached out, fingers trembling, every nerve screaming with terror. The moment they brushed the cold, rough doorknob, the walls seemed to breathe, stretching, contracting, pulsing like a living entity drawing him into its darkness. Shadows along the corridor twisted unnaturally, curling into grotesque, impossible shapes that appeared, vanished, and reappeared elsewhere, each movement deliberate, watching, following. Hollow eyes glimmered from the dark, floating just above the floor, blinking intermittently, tracking his every motion, piercing into his fear. Massive black ghosts began to drift around him, filling the hallway with oppressive weight. Some were dense, smoky forms hovering low, curling and writhing like thick liquid, their bulk stretching along the walls and floor. Others were elongated humanoid silhouettes, towering, rigid, with hollow eyes flickering intermittently, exuding a sense of patient malice. Jagged, fragmented black masses shifted unpredictably, forming monstrous, shifting figures before dissolving into shadows. Dense black mist coiled and crawled through the corners, merging with these spirits, carrying faint whispers, distorted voices, and metallic laughter that seemed to echo through the corridor, vibrating his chest with each heartbeat. The flickering bulbs above cast uneven, high-contrast light, making every shadow appear alive. Smaller swarming black spirits darted along walls and ceilings, merging with larger forms, creating constantly shifting clusters that seemed to anticipate his next move. Each flicker of light, every subtle movement of these massive, diverse ghosts amplified the suffocating dread, pressing down, making the air feel heavy, almost viscous. His fingers tightened around the doorknob, and the house seemed to respond. The black ghosts pulsed in reaction, curling closer, undulating, massive forms stretching and contracting as if flowing like smoke and liquid, dominating every inch of space with oppressive presence. The door's grin widened, alive, mocking him, daring him to proceed. Low, distorted whispers, faint laughter, and vibrating metallic echoes filled the corridor, coming from every direction, every corner. Time slowed unnaturally, every heartbeat thundered, every shadow shifted with intent. He understood then that the house was more than walls and floors, it was sentient, aware, alive. Watching. Waiting. Hungry. The moment his skin touched the doorknob, the thick black ghosts, in all their varied forms, dense, elongated, fragmented, mist-like, and swarming, converged subtly, pressing in, curling, shifting, surrounding him, ready to consume anyone bold enough to step through that grinning, malevolent door. Every whisper, flicker, and shadow screamed one truth: escape was impossible, and the hallway had already begun to claim him. A whisper slithered through the hallway, curling around his ears, calling his name in tones both soft and sinister. Panic surged like fire, but his body remained frozen, trapped between fear and curiosity. The doorknob beneath his trembling fingers seemed impossibly cold, almost alive, and as he gripped it tighter, the walls pulsed, shadows curling and twisting into grotesque shapes that shifted and reformed, eyes flickering faintly in the darkness. The hallway was alive. Thick black ghosts swirled around him, reacting to his every heartbeat. Massive smoky forms floated low, curling like viscous liquid across the floor, elongated humanoid silhouettes hovered midair, towering, rigid, their hollow eyes observing, piercing into his terror. Jagged, fragmented black shapes drifted slowly, assembling into monstrous, shifting figures before dissolving back into the shadows. Dense fog-like clusters pulsed and writhed, creeping along corners and walls, and smaller swarming shadow spirits darted unpredictably, merging and separating constantly, filling every inch of the corridor with oppressive, suffocating presence. The door ahead began to move slowly, creaking, stretching its impossible grin, as if alive and mocking him. A faceless figure emerged from the blackness beyond, thick, dark, humanoid yet distorted, hovering just above the floor. Its grin stretched wide, jagged and unnatural, and it watched, patient, calculating, waiting. Distorted whispers and metallic laughter bounced along the walls, mixing with the soft sigh of the swirling mists and the echoing groan of the floorboards beneath him. Time seemed to stretch unnaturally. Each flicker of the overhead bulbs revealed new horrors, massive smoky forms undulating, fragmented shapes assembling and collapsing, elongated silhouettes stretching impossibly. The air thickened with dread, pressing against his chest, filling his lungs with the oppressive weight of unseen eyes. Every subtle movement of the black ghosts, curling, writhing, pulsing, made the hallway feel alive, sentient, and hungry, ready to consume anyone daring enough to approach. The faceless, grinning figure drifted closer, yet the thick, varied black ghosts seemed to protect it, swirling in a chaotic, coordinated dance that blocked any escape. Each heartbeat thundered in his ears, every whisper crawled across his spine, and every shadow moved with deliberate, sinister intent. The hallway had become a living entity, malevolent and aware, its darkness stretching and folding around him. As he stood frozen, trapped between fear and the compulsion to move forward, the black ghosts pressed in, curling closer, thickening the air, their forms undulating like liquid smoke. The door's grin stretched impossibly, and the faceless figure remained, watching, waiting. Every flicker of light, every distorted whisper, every movement of these monstrous entities made one truth unmistakable. The hallway was alive, the malevolent door was patient, and escape was already impossible. He tried to step back, but the hallway twisted unnaturally, walls stretching and bending as if alive. The floorboards groaned beneath him, echoing like whispers of something aware. The smile on the door had multiplied, etched into the walls, the floor, even his own reflection in the warped, dimly lit surfaces. Every surface, every shadow seemed to mock him, alive with the malevolence of the door. Thick black ghosts swirled around him, denser than ever, massive smoky forms floated low, curling and twisting like viscous liquid, elongated humanoid silhouettes hovered midair, towering, their hollow eyes flickering with cruel intent, jagged, fragmented black shapes drifted slowly, forming monstrous, shifting figures before dissolving into shadows, dense fog-like clusters pulsed and writhed along walls and floor, and smaller swarming shadow spirits darted unpredictably, merging and separating. Reacting to his terror, the faceless, grinning figure from before hovered closer, now fully enveloped by the thick black ghosts, its presence magnifying the oppressive weight of the corridor. The air thickened with dread, carrying faint, distorted whispers, metallic echoes, and soft, sinister laughter. Every flicker of the overhead bulbs revealed new horrors, shadows stretching, walls pulsing, the hallway seeming to fold in on itself. His own heartbeat pounded in his ears, every step forward or backward impossible to gauge, the space itself twisting and contracting. As panic surged, he realized the horrifying truth. It wasn't the house following him. The black ghosts, the twisting corridor, the impossible grin, they were all part of the smile. He was trapped inside it, swallowed by the malevolent presence, every wall, every shadow, every flicker of light amplifying the inescapable terror. The hallway had become alive, sentient, and insatiable, feeding on his fear. Every movement, every breath, every thought was consumed by the oppressive darkness and the unending, omnipresent grin, until there was nothing left but him and the malevolent smile that had claimed him utterly. Today's second story, Room 404. He arrived at the hotel just as the rain began to fall, cold, relentless sheets that turned the city outside into a blur of grey and neon. The place looked normal enough at first, a fading sign that buzzed faintly, a cracked glass door, and a bell at the counter that didn't ring no matter how many times you pressed it. The air inside smelled faintly of damp wood and cigarette smoke, the kind that clings to walls for decades. The receptionist never looked up. She slid the key across the counter without meeting his eyes, whispering something he couldn't quite catch. The key tag read 404. When he asked if the room was ready, she simply nodded, slow, almost reluctant, and turned away. The corridor stretched unnaturally long as he walked. The carpet was worn thin, patterned with stains that resembled shapes of faces if you stared too long. Light bulbs flickered above, humming softly, their glow pulsing like a heartbeat. The number plates on each door looked scratched, faded, as though someone had tried to erase them. And yet, at the very end, room 404 waited. The door was darker than the others, not painted, just aged. Its number, 404, was carved roughly, unevenly, like it had been done in a hurry or in fear. When he touched the handle, a faint static pulse went through his fingertips, and a whisper echoed faintly from behind the door, or maybe from inside his head. He opened it. The lights inside flickered once, then steadied, revealing a room that looked perfectly ordinary, almost too ordinary. A single bed, an old TV, curtains that refused to move despite the draft. The mirror on the far wall reflected only part of the room, leaving one corner always in shadow. As he stepped in and turned around, his heart skipped. The hallway, the one he'd just walked through, was gone. The door opened to nothing but darkness, deep and absolute. He tried the light switch, but the bulbs flickered again, struggling as if something unseen was draining their power. He felt a strange stillness settle over the room. No city noise, no sound of rain, no ticking clock, just silence so heavy it pressed against his chest. He placed his bag down on the bed and noticed something he hadn't before, faint scratches on the inside of the door, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Each one was a mark of panic, of someone trying to get out. He turned to the mirror again, and for a split second, just one, he thought he saw someone standing behind him, pale and motionless. But when he spun around, the room was empty. Only the door, the bed, the mirror, and that flickering light that seemed to pulse like it was breathing. The air grew colder. The silence felt heavier. And as he stood there, trying to convince himself it was all in his head, a faint voice whispered through the static hum of the light, a voice that said, "Welcome back." The air inside room 404 hung heavy, thick with mildew and something sweeter, the faint, clinging scent of old perfume, like a memory that refused to die. Every breath tasted stale, and every sound lingered too long, as if the walls themselves were breathing it back. He stood still, listening, realizing that even the silence had texture layered with whispers, the distant thud of footsteps that never reached the door, and the faint hum of electricity that pulsed in uneven rhythms. He tried to shake off the unease, telling himself that it was just an old building. But the more he moved, the stranger it became. His footsteps didn't echo once, they echoed twice, like someone else was walking exactly in sync behind him. He turned quickly, expecting to see his own reflection in the mirror. Instead, the mirror showed the room exactly as it was, except the curtains were swaying there, though the real ones stood still. He walked closer. The reflection flickered. For a brief moment, the bed was empty on his side, but in the mirror, something sat on it, a blurred, dark shape that didn't move, didn't breathe. He blinked and it was gone. Only the lingering impression of weight remained on the sheets. He stepped back, trying to steady his breathing. The air temperature dropped sharply, the kind of cold that crawls under the skin. Somewhere inside the walls, a faint ticking began, like a clock buried deep in plaster. He followed the sound to the corner of the room, where the wallpaper peeled away to reveal faint writing scratched into the wood beneath, "Don't turn around." His pulse thundered in his ears. The lights flickered again, once, twice, and for that brief moment of darkness, he felt a hand brush against his back, light, deliberate, and ice cold. He spun around, but no one was there. Only the smell of that same old perfume, stronger now, almost choking. He stumbled backward toward the mirror, and this time, his reflection was gone entirely. Only the empty room stared back, empty except for a figure standing by the door, its face blurred, its head tilted slightly as if studying him. When the lights steadied, the figure was gone. But the sound of slow, deliberate breathing filled the space, and he realized the walls weren't listening anymore. They were breathing. He grabbed his bag and rushed toward the door, every instinct screaming to leave. The second he stepped into the hallway, the air felt different, thinner, quieter, like the sound had been pulled out of the world. The corridor stretched endlessly in both directions, each flickering bulb casting uneven shadows across the faded carpet. He walked fast, then faster, counting doors as he passed, 401, 402, 403, but when he reached the next one, it wasn't 405. It was 404. He froze. That had to be a mistake. He turned around, and there it was again, the same hallway, the same stains on the carpet, the same buzzing light above. He spun back the other way, his heartbeat pounding louder than his footsteps. 401, 402, 403, and again 404. Panic flared in his chest. He tried different paths, opening doors that led only to more doors, more corridors, each one stretching in impossible directions. The floor felt like it was tilting slightly beneath his feet, the walls breathing, narrowing, pushing closer every time he blinked. His reflection flickered in the glass of picture frames along the wall, always a step behind him, watching. He yelled for help, but his voice sounded swallowed, muffled, as though the hotel itself was absorbing it. The lights flickered off completely for just a second, and in that darkness, he heard footsteps, dozens of them, circling him. When the lights came back, every door on both sides now read 404 in deep red lettering, carved freshly, dripping as if the numbers were alive. The corridor began to bend, subtly at first, then violently, curving into itself like a spiral. He felt gravity shift, the ceiling tilting sideways until it became the floor. He ran, stumbling, but no matter how far he went, the hallway looped, feeding back into the same point, the same cursed door, standing there as though waiting. He reached for the handle, desperate, but the metal burned ice cold. Behind the door, faint whispers began again. His voice this time, repeating words he hadn't spoken yet. The light above burst, plunging the hallway into pulsing, red-tinted darkness. Every surface shimmered faintly, reflecting distorted versions of him, one smiling, one crying, one motionless, all trapped within their own doors marked 404. And then the laughter came, soft, echoing from nowhere and everywhere. The hallway wasn't just looping. It was alive. A knock echoed from inside the room, slow, hollow, deliberate. He froze. The sound didn't come from the door but from somewhere within the walls. The wallpaper seemed to breathe faintly, a pulse running through the cracks like veins under skin. He whispered, "Who's there?" but his own voice sounded distant, muffled, as if the room had swallowed it. Then came the whispers. Faint at first. Layered. They spoke his name with a strange softness, a dozen voices overlapping, some near his ear, others far away, as if echoing from under the floorboards. The air felt damp, heavy with mildew and something sweet, like old perfume gone sour. The bulb above him flickered, once, twice, and shadows bled across the ceiling, stretching, reaching. For a split second, he thought he saw faces forming in the peeling paint, hollow eyes, wide grins, blinking out before he could focus. The room seemed to sigh, the sound low and human, like breath drawn too close to his ear. He took a step back, bumping into the bed frame. It groaned. The walls rippled slightly, and a second knock came, louder this time, not from the door, but from the mirror. He turned, heart pounding. His reflection wasn't moving. It just stood there, eyes wide, lips curling slowly into a smile he didn't make. The whispers rose again, pleading now, begging him to stay. The air shimmered faintly, and dark shapes began to stir, thick black forms gliding just beyond the edges of sight, moving with purpose, circling. They weren't shadows anymore. They had weight, they had eyes. He stumbled toward the door, hands shaking as he reached for the knob, but before he could touch it, a cold draft slipped past his neck, carrying a soft giggle, childlike and cruel. The walls trembled, the sound grew, a heartbeat, a pulse from the floor itself. He turned just once to look behind him. And there, in the corner, a figure stood, faceless, featureless, but smiling wide the same way his reflection had. It tilted its head, whispering his name one last time. The knock echoed again, and all the lights died at once. He froze in front of the mirror, breath catching in his throat. At first, it was just him, pale, trembling, staring back. Then a flicker, subtle at first, and he noticed it wasn't him anymore. The reflection's lips curved into a grin before his own did, slow and deliberate, stretching impossibly wide. Its eyes weren't his, hollow, dark, glinting faintly with red like dying embers. He stepped back, heart hammering. The mirror shimmered, rippling like water disturbed by unseen fingers. Behind him, the room seemed to shift subtly, walls bending inward, corners darkening. Shadows thickened and began to move, black ghosts of varied forms, tall, cloaked silhouettes drifting midair, jagged, fragmented shapes crawling along the walls, dense, liquid-like masses twisting across the floor, and swirling, misty clusters that coiled and uncoiled like sentient smoke. Soft whispers echoed from the glass itself, overlapping with distant laughter, calling his name over and over. He reached out, fingers trembling, and the reflection mirrored his movement, but with a delay, a malevolent independence. It leaned closer, tilting its head, grinning wider with each heartbeat. The air grew colder, thick with tension, carrying a metallic tang that made his stomach churn. Every surface shimmered faintly, reflecting fragments of other faces, some smiling, some screaming, all trapped inside the dark corners of the room. He tried to turn away, but the reflection followed, tilting its head, its grin widening as though mocking his fear. The bulb flickered violently, casting high-contrast shadows that stretched the ghosts, revealing new forms, low, smoky masses slithering near the floor, elongated, faceless figures appearing only in the mirror's edges, jagged shards of darkness that merged into monstrous shapes before dissolving into nothing. Each flicker brought them closer, circling silently, their hollow eyes fixed on him. Panic surged, but he was rooted to the spot, unable to move. The reflection grinned again, wider than ever, and for a terrifying moment it seemed to lean out of the mirror, the line between reality and reflection blurring. The whispers rose into a chorus, voices overlapping, echoing, some imitating his own, and he realized the room was alive, feeding off his fear. And still the mirror smiled. The room twisted. Doors multiplied endlessly, all char saw char. Black ghosts swirled, faceless and smoky. The mirror reflected trapped versions of him. Shadows pulsed, light flickered, room 404 was a trap. Today's final story, the mirror in the basement. He descended into the basement, the air thick and cold. A single mirror leaned against the wall, reflecting not him, but someone else, smiling back. Every step closer made the figure in the mirror mimic him, but slower. And its grin widened unnaturally. He reached out to touch the glass. And his hand went through. Cold, slimy fingers gripped his own, pulling him toward the reflection. His reflection spoke, whispering secrets he didn't know about himself. Every word clawed at his mind, twisting reality. The basement stretched impossibly. Stairs led nowhere, walls folded inward, and the reflection stepped out, looking exactly like him, but wrong. He screamed, but the sound came from the mirror, not his mouth. He realized too late the reflection didn't want to escape. It wanted him. That was the end of episode 31 of Dynamic Dark. If you enjoyed these terrifying stories, make sure to comment below which story scared you the most. The best comment will be pinned by me, Aditya. So don't forget to like, subscribe and enable notifications bell if you dare to see what comes next. And share with your friends and family too. Or you can suggest a topic for the next episode, like a foreign urban legend, haunted place, or any other creepy horror story. The suggestion with the most likes might be featured in the next episode. Until then, keep listening to terrifying stories because we'll be back soon with episode 32. And in the next episode, we'll bring you creepypasta horror stories. Yes, an English episode this time. Stay tuned and keep watching the horror episodes of Dynamic Dark. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new horror episode. New fears, new darkness, and new secrets. Join the Dynamic Dark family with 3 brand new terrifying stories.